Chris Wright made a number of funny comments when interviewed on Fox News. He's the energy secretary. But the funniest one is that he says if President Biden had been the president again, or if Harris had won or whatever, in the middle of this heat wave, they would have ripped everyone's air conditioners from their hands. What the hell is this guy talking about?
Now, if we had President Harris right now, we'd be dealing with blackouts and massive economic disruption because they would have continued to close all the coal plants, and they wouldn't have.
Okay, this is the wrong clip. Let's play the actual correct clip here where he talks about the air conditioner.
See the Europeans coming over here celebrating the World Cup, and they're thrilled. Oh my God, there's air conditioning here in the summer. Maybe we should have that in Europe. But President Biden, his goal for the United States was to be France. Tear everyone's air conditioners out.
Rip out those air conditioners. You know, this is a refresh or they're bringing back the talking point from Trump's campaign, which is that if Biden wins, or ultimately if Harris wins, you'll have no heating in the winter. You'll have no cooling in the summer. You'll have no windows. You'll have no energy. You'll have no nothing. And I am here to say, as a lover of air conditioning, I'm sitting in air-conditioned bliss right now. Despite I don't have it set to 68. I'm not going to go that far. But in any case, there was never a plan for Biden or Harris to take people's air conditioning or any of it. This is when they create straw men to then take down. Now, then Chris Wright does get to this issue of blackouts. And what he says is really funny. And I'm going to see if you can notice why this is so funny.
Now, if we had President Harris right now, we'd be dealing with blackouts and massive economic disruption because they would have continued to close all the coal plants, and they wouldn't have encouraged building anything new unless it was carefully blessed by the climate cult gods from above, which means nothing meaningful would be built and expanded. But fortunately, we're not in those ages. We're celebrating 250 years.
All right. So there would be blackouts under Democrats, but fortunately, there's no blackouts now. Except, I hate to break it to Chris Wright, but this is happening right now. We are currently dealing with, over the last 24 hours, because of the extreme heat, power outages in New Jersey, in Michigan, Ohio, upstate New York, Pittsburgh. I could go on. Like, it's a very long list. And then we also have warnings about possible blackouts in New York City and elsewhere. So I guess it is Trump's fault, since it would have been Biden or Kamala's fault if there were blackouts while they were president. And if these exact outages had happened under Biden or Harris, you know that Fox News would have declared it proof that the Green New Deal, which isn't even the law, has destroyed America, socialism and communism, and maybe even Marxism, and maybe even Antifa would be responsible for this. But under Trump, it's just like, it's hot, unavoidable. That's it. That's all that this is. Now, this is going to become a real problem for Trump. It's going to become a problem for two different reasons. Number one, it's going to become a problem because it appears as though, especially today and into tomorrow, there are going to be more blackouts because of the extreme heat and grids that cannot handle it. And it has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It has nothing to do with Obama. Nothing to do with Barack Obama. That's right. But it's also going to be a problem for Trump because this regime is planning to force people to wait for hours in 107-degree heat with no water, supplies, or sun protection before they get to see the fireworks and before they get to hear Donald Trump speak. Take a listen to this.
I mean, part of this is just the heat, period. I mean, regardless of what's going on, the weather team here at CNN says that the forecast, 102 degrees on Saturday, is expected to be the hottest July 4th ever recorded. I mean, there's a list of what people can't even bring because of the tightest security measures. Reusable water bottles, sunscreen, bug spray, camping chairs, coolers, umbrellas. I mean, if you're a family and you're going out to watch fireworks that aren't expected to start until after the president has spoken, it might make it tough to hang out for hours on end.
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah, and I think, look, maybe God's sending a message. I don't know. I can't speak for God, but yeah, I mean, look,
Anyway, you get the point. It's going to be a real problem. Now, as far as Saturday and Trump speaking, I would not be caught dead out there. And in all seriousness, like this is not a joke. You do not want to end up being taken in an ambulance to the ER because you were out there exhibiting your loyalty to Donald Trump. Just like it's just not worth it. Just don't do it. Stay home. Watch the thing on TV if you really want to see Trump speak. In all seriousness, as far as the whole climate thing and blackouts and all this stuff, either presidents deserve credit and blame for every local power outage, which is pretty ridiculous, or they don't. But these right wingers have spent years insisting every outage, every price spike, every infrastructure problem, potholes. If a Democrat is president when it happens, it's because of failed leadership. And now they want to abandon that principle completely and go, none of this has anything to do with Donald Trump. Well, there's going to be more blackouts. And if the buck truly stops with Trump, then it has to at least be Trump's responsibility. Now, we are on the bonus show going to discuss news that Mitch McConnell was secretly found unconscious and given CPR before being brought to a hospital. We are learning about what is going on with his condition. That'll be on the bonus show. A climber couple was arrested after scaling the Empire State Building. I guess it was part of a marriage proposal. And we will talk about what is happening in D.C. on the 4th of July and how it will be different than normal under Trump for America's 250th anniversary. I suggest staying out of the heat. That's my suggestion. All of those stories and more on today's bonus show. You can sign up and get instant access at joinpakman.com. One thing I've noticed is when I don't have good food options at home, I end up ordering takeout or making unnecessary trips to the store. Having really good staples on hand makes a huge difference, which is why I like our sponsor, Wild Grain. Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for sourdough breads, artisanal pastries, and fresh pastas. Everything arrives frozen and bakes in 25 minutes or less with no thawing required. You will always have good bread at home, hot out of the oven with no work. I especially like the slow fermented artisanal pitas. They come out warm and chewy. They work great for everything from sandwiches to dips. The biggest surprise is how little effort it takes. You keep everything in the freezer, bake what you want, end up with something that tastes like it came from your local bakery. And for a limited time, Wild Grain is offering my audience $30 off your first box, plus free croissants for life when you go to wildgrain.com/Pakman or use the promo code Pakman at checkout. The link is in the description.